Hartford, Connecticut. Sometimes, okay, all the time, David Letterman, who used to host his very own television program, is asked whether he still wishes he were on TV. Back then, he could do almost anything he wanted in front of millions of viewers, chat with a president, toss a wheel of runny brie off a building, even mock his once mortal frenemy Jay Leno. He must miss it terribly. Not for a second, Letterman says before delivering a lengthy analogy about a prison sentence that references beatings, food poisoning and a knife fight. You sit there waiting for the punchline, the twist, the resolution, and then, at a certain point, realize it's not coming. Wait. Mr. Letterman, are you saying hosting a late-night talk show is hard time? They are exactly the same, he says. The David Letterman who will receive the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor this month looks different from the guy you remember from television. He's got a bushy white beard everybody makes a big to-do about. Stop asking, folks, they will bury me in it, he says. But that voice and octave-jumping cackle is hard to mistake for anyone but the man who hosted NBC's Late Night and CBS's Late Show, a stretch that ran from 1982 until 2015. At 70, he remains a masterful storyteller, infinitely curious and as quick with a quip as Kyrie Irving's first step to the hoop. What's gone is the nightly entertainment race that ruled his life for 33 years. There was a time, even he'll admit, when he cared about nothing more than the TV show. Today, as he tries to keep up with his boy Harry, 13, that former life baffles him. That brooding guy on television, he'll shrug, was a different man. It was the late night wars, OJ's winning, nobody likes me, and everybody likes Jay, he says. Now I think, what was that? Who's at war here? There's no war anymore. And I think, why was I in the war? It's a Wednesday afternoon and Letterman has driven from his home in New York to visit the Mark Twain house in Hartford, Connecticut. This is textbook Dave. When he realized he would be receiving the Twain Prize, Letterman didn't feel proud, he felt guilty, and on multiple levels. First, he's sadly deficient in the study of Samuel Clemens. All I really knew about Mark Twain was Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, trying to get through his autobiography, and then I read a book of his letters, and I'm currently reading The Innocents Abroad, he says, referring to the 685-page travel book. If failing to measure up to Twain isn't enough, Letterman notes the other 19 recipients of the prize, including Neil Simon, Tina Fey, and Bill Murray. There's one gaping sinkhole on that list at number 20, says Letterman. And it's me. That's a good one. The prize is meant to recognize those who have had an impact on American society in ways similar to Clemens. During his tenure, Letterman invented an entirely new language for television, one steeped in irreverence, edge and sarcasm but fortified, particularly as he grew older, by his presence as a trusted, calming voice. He may have made his name by throwing himself against a Velcro wall or with the show's monkey cam, yes, a camera strapped to a live chimp, but after the World Trade Center attack, it was Letterman who returned to the air with a somber 8-minute monologue that displayed both a steady hand and a comforting vulnerability. Jimmy Kimmel, a lifelong fan who, as a teenager, had a late night license plate installed on his Isuzu, admits he thought of Letterman recently when he spoke out, passionately, on his show about healthcare protections and gun control. You reach a point in your career where you feel like you've done enough silly stuff and you realize, thanks to Dave, that it's okay to be serious sometimes, says Kimmel. I can't do that. I can't do Thothy's comedy career, unofficially, began in Indianapolis, where Letterman grew up. Steve Brown, a lifelong friend, remembers sitting around one day after school when Letterman, then just 13, saw a listing in the want ads of the local newspaper. A guy was selling propane tanks. Letterman picked up the phone. This guy had a large quantity, I don't know, maybe 50 of them, says Brown. So Dave gets the guy on the line and he put him on for 15 minutes and had the guy convinced that he was from the Naval Department and they were interested in buying all of these and they were going on a miniature submarine project, that they were going to equip them as weapons. He got to the point where he was actually trying to negotiate a price with the guy. Harry Joseph Letterman, his father, introduced him to Jack Benny's radio show. He also introduced him to the concept of the tortured performer. Harry owned a flower shop, To this day, Letterman isn't sure why, because his father seemed happiest when he was playing organ, which he could do for hours, or putting on an impromptu show. Even at church functions. He would throw in jokes, he would have props, says Letterman. He would turn